federal prison. You will not be charged for this call. This call is from Joe. This call will be recorded and subject to monitoring.
This call will be recorded.
To accept this call, press 5. To block this, you may begin speaking now.
Joe, I have some questions that were suggested by some followers. A lot of my comedy, the background comes from drug addiction and recovery. And I told my people, I said, I'm going to ask him about the dope. How much was there realistically? How much was it just Netflix's influence? 2020 was wild for me.
Yeah, it was a wild time.
Is there anybody out there that 2020 wasn't like a transitional time? Not only did we have COVID,
yeah,
but shit would literally just go wrong. It was like the vibe was off.
You see, in 2020, I was getting out of the Army. I was getting out of the Army in 2020. And that's back when COVID first had its fucking...
So you were coming from soldier to civilian in a good time.
Listen, I don't know if... I was on an airplane with two motherfuckers. I don't know if you've ever seen... And the first thing that came in my head is like, well, if this plane crashes, no one's going to give a fuck because there's just three of us on here.
Yeah.
They're not going to... I remember coming home and I hadn't been home in forever when I came. And 2020, when COVID hit, I think that's when the Tiger King shit...
That's when everything popped off.
When that shit popped off. It was a wild time.
It was like COVID was in China. We watched Tiger King. COVID got here.
We had a clown problem. I remember that.
I forgot about the clowns. Remember the murder hornets?
Oh, no. In 2020 in Texas.
The clowns come back?
Dallas had a fucking clown problem. That made headlines.
Didn't some of them get like shot or something?
Yeah,
like they kept being all creepy and like
just standing in the road.
They took it to like if you show up on like fine, you scare someone
else to do.
Well, I can think of a million other things to do besides standing on someone's porch in a clown costume with a machete. Like, that just sounds like a terrible time.
Try that in a small town. I hate to be that guy.
Wasn't that also in 2020?
Like, ain't try drugs or something. You don't have to scare people.
That's what I was doing.
Yeah,
my mom and dad got their divorce. It was a huge, big, messy fucking thing, and I just dove off the deep end into crystal methamphetamine. And now here we are.
I'd love to hear, what was your initial take on the whole Joe Exotic experience when you first watched the documentary?
It was wild. You know what I mean? It was like, to be honest, watching it, it was like some of this has to be a little bit
exaggerated.
Yeah.
I feel like it wasn't, though. Because, see, I watched Joe Exotic, the Tiger King, for the first time, like, it's been about a year. Yeah, last year. And see, I'd only ever seen the memes and all the jokes they made about it. And then when I really watched it, both seasons were out, so I could watch it all at once. And after watching it, I was like, damn, man. And then I started deep diving into what happened. And then the second season shows how the success of it. And they even have a spinoff now about the one guy that likes to fuck a bunch of women at the park. Yeah.
They have a.
Is it the one that doesn't have a neck?
No, that's Jet Ski Man.
You know,
Chucky doll. For me, it was 2020. I just got out of nail tech school prior to that in like December. The world went to hell. I couldn't open a salon. Tiger King comes out, and the first thing I noticed was, this looks like my dad.
Yeah.
And that was like, I have to watch this now because that looks exactly like my father in a wig. So I get into it. My mom and dad are hesitant because they're like, this can't be real. It definitely, my mom and dad had a hard time watching it because my dad's like, I'm looking at myself, but that ain't me. And my mom's like, that's my husband, but he's gay.
What would you have done if...
So a better version of your dad.
Yeah, like the more outgoing dad.
What if your dad just randomly starts getting obsessed with cats?
Well, my dad, here's what's wild. My dad does like monkeys. Like, he wants to own a little pet monkey. And he said that since he first seen, like, petting zoo stuff at the fair and was like, how much you want for this?
These corners are starting to connect.
Yeah. So there may be, if I did a DNA test, I may be related somewhere down the line to Joe. And that's what I hope for, you know? I'd love to have an uncle
if we
like
get to go visit him in prison, that means we could be, like, we're friends and family.
Yeah.
Yeah, friends and family.
I don't think they're even doing a deep dive and checking on that anyway.
Yeah,
You'll
they're
probably
not.
just say friends and family.
How would you even check that anyway? All right, sit down.
I mean, I look enough like him.
Get
we
your
can
blood
get
out.
in. Like, if
Let me see your phone.
I'm gonna pull up
many pictures you
Ancestry.
got?
And
Ancestry
see, Joe
DNA.
Exotic has a team that works for him, which is wild to me. And
Yep.
because we were texting this man, and I was like, damn, they let them have phones in prison now?
It's his team. We're talking
Yeah,
to,
it's his team. I was like, I wish I had a team when I was in jail. That should be cool as hell.
I mean, the team beyond. I only know his assistant, the Tamara. Who we
Yeah.
talked to.
Yeah.
Have you talked to other people?
No, I've just been talking to Joe.
His social media, which he does it sometimes, I believe, and then he's got a social media team. Which what sucks for Joe, I think the worst is that he was in prison before he even got to enjoy.
While they were making the documentary.
Yeah.
And that's
stuff
one thing I want to
popped
talk
off.
to him about too. The
Yeah.
fact that he got world famous in prison.
And-
And talk about
Yeah.
like God laughing.
You
Yeah.
see, and people banter and go on all the time that are locked up, and you do lawyer stuff, so you've heard some wild stories. But if you really sit down and like listen to the podcast that he has done and the story, a lot of it makes sense because a lot of the things he says he backs up with evidence, cases, and things that he says, and he has receipts for it, which a lot of people that do that don't.
He's got nothing but time right now too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's got time to make those connections.
He's using his time wisely.
Yeah,
I
he
wanna
is
say,
very
like,
wisely, very wisely.
I went to my 20th reunion Friday from high school, and a guy works for the federal prison system in Manchester. But they go to conventions and training with federal agent or federal prison guys from all over the country. There's a guy that works at Joe's prison and said he got high on ketamine like a year ago and was run naked through the general population area.
So that's what I would do if I was in
And,
prison.
I'll ask him about it.
and they, and he,
You want to tell me about this ketamine shit?
I don't know if that'd be a good idea, but
I don't know how he'd feel about it
Yeah.
because but the prison guard told the story like it was terrible, like not a good look, but also that's the prison guard. It's probably causing him headache and paperwork.
well, that and you know some of these prison guards, I'm not calling him a liar, but sometimes people exaggerate a little
Sure.
bit. Yeah. So because
Yeah.
I've been in,
Inflate.
yeah, they inflate, which maybe he did get high on ketamine and shit, but I don't know. Maybe,
There's a surprising amount of people that work in prisons that haven't ever dealt with people that are wild and zany on the outside, and they just like to be boring and bland. And when somebody's a little, maybe they're boofing some nutmeg, and they're getting a
Yeah.
little crazy, and they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe somebody do this." And I'm like,
See,
"That's just a normal thing."
I've been to jail, and I'm not going to tell nobody, but people in jail they get stuff in.
Yeah.
And prison, I don't know how easy. I'd imagine it'd be easier because there's work programs that allow you to leave the prison and come back, and you do it in jail too, work release. Some of these boys would bring back tattoo guns, and they would bring back and they did this thing where they do tattoos. I don't know if you know how you've been to jail.
No.
That's surprising as a motherfucker. But they would get ink and they would put it on a staple.
Yep.
And they would do it that way, and it would turn real red.
It's like horrible.
And I was
Stick
in
and pokes.
Clay
Yeah, stick and
County.
poke.
I was in Clay County Detention Center, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna tell nobody. And this guard, I watched him give this to the inmate, the staple and the ink and everything he needed, and he did a tattoo. 2 hours later, they make us all get out of the cell because they suspect contraband. It was the same fucking guard. And I didn't want to be like the guy that was like, hey, you fucking did that. Because then I'd get labeled as what they call a rat.
Well, maybe
I-
he was doing it to cover himself.
No.
Yeah, he
No.
could've been.
I think that guy made him mad. And he was like, yo, fuck this. ain't nobody
You're gonna
slipping
get
feet.
beat up today.
Yeah.
All right, what we're gonna do? Put back in the edit.
Oh, here's something, but this is another point I'll make about jail. I was in jail with a guy named David Taylor. David Taylor was a great guy. He took care of me. It was my first time in jail. He taught me the ropes, as you call it, and just all around nice guy. And he about 2 years after I got out of jail, that same guy is actually on his way to prison right now for murder. He cut a man's head off with a machete. That is a real story.
That takes a few good lops, I'd imagine.
I don't know. Everybody said it was drug related, but that's a real. You can look that up. That's a real story that happened.
And I'm going to be very careful with the tone we set with Joe because I want it to be light and
Yeah.
respectful.
Yes.
I was telling Tara last week, I could almost understand somebody lopping someone's head off with a machete. I could have probably a less conflicted conversation with that guy than somebody that's been accused of animal cruelty. because
Yeah.
kids and animals are so vulnerable. And so the fact that he's in jail for that, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But that I am conflicted with that. I think it's going to be hard to set the right tone, and there's going to be a lot of people. I imagine if this does blow up the way we hope, that they're going to be like, well, he deserves to rot in jail because he, hurt kittens.
There's a facing of the
Yeah.
fact though with what we
So
know.
do we bring that up to him and have him let him defend that?
I don't even think you have to bring it up. To
I don't
him.
want to. I'm not going
He's-
to, but
I feel like Joe's going to talk about.
He's very adamant on his innocence.
sure,
Yes.
sure.
So I'm sure that
I mean, he's
yeah.
he's got
Yeah.
justifications. Not that he didn't do it.
And
He's saying
when
I
when
killed sick and old tigers.
Yeah, he also, I know, based on what he's talked to me about, trying to prevent the spaying and neutering of the tigers that they
Yeah.
removed from his zoo, because it's not that he wants to breed them to make money off of them, so much as I feel like his heart is at the end of the day at, we are losing tigers daily by hundreds,
Yeah.
and he wants to preserve their DNA so that way they won't go endangered or extinct.
Apparently, there's less than 5,000 tigers left
No,
in the world.
there's less than 6,000.
Less than 6,000.
90% of the tigers' population's been cut in the last 70 years. There was 100,000 tigers in the wild 70 years ago, and now there's less than 6,000.
Just to be devil's advocate, should we keep tigers around when they can kill humans?
Well, that's what I see. I'm a George Carlin fan. And George Carlin and the way he said is, fuck it. Mother Nature's going to do what it wants. Why would people feel so involved as to stop it? He said the statistics he gave is that 90% of all creatures that have ever existed they're extinct. He says every single day, 25 creatures that exist will go extinct. So, in my personal opinion, tigers going extinct wouldn't bother me because it's just Mother Nature.
It wouldn't bother me because I don't think we should be bringing back velociraptors either.
Yeah, exactly.
We shouldn't meddle with that, but I want to say it's also because of people that they are going extinct.
But
Yes.
people
And
as
it's
a
not
human,
really
or
our fight, though,
people or nature.
where we are.
Yeah.
Like, if you really want to help the tigers, go to where they're native at, and then do your conservation
See,
from
that's-
there. Because if you do it from here, realistically, what can we do?
You can't.
Do
You
you
can't
have a take on this?
You can't forget.
What is a panda for?
Right.
Yeah.
Like they won't hardly screw each other right. They could eat other stuff, but they only eat bamboo. They fall over and get hurt and die. And then China, I don't know exactly how they've got it structured, like who's responsible for making sure that they don't just
Go extinct?
go extinct
Yeah.
because they suck.
Now,
You know what I mean? Is it an aesthetic thing?
Maybe
do
pandas-
they feel obligated?
I
like,
think
think-
90% of the reason pandas exist now is because of anime. Because they're just cute to
But
draw.
what if you could you ride a panda? Like if you had to ride?
It wouldn't do it.
I feel like you could. I feel like you could do
I think
it.
they've got the IQ of a cricket.
That's
I don't
exactly
think
right.
I'm
They're so
exaggerating.
worthless. They're so just they're the
Somebody
most
right now owns a
beautiful-
panda going, yo, fuck Tuck Park.
No, fuck pandas, fuck
I love
penguins,
nature and-
seahorses. Usually you can look at like a food web and say, oh, okay, so we don't like the mosquitoes, but the birds eat the mosquitoes, and then this falcon eats this bird, and then there's this whole circle of life. But what does a seahorse do? Like, where is
Yeah.
its position?
Now if I could pick an animal that had to go extinct, fuck geese. Get rid of the goose. I don't like geese.
Get rid of the goose.
What's their
Hashtag.
purpose? Their
They make
eggs taste
shit.
like shit. They're mean as a motherfucker.
They ruin golf
I
courses.
feel like
Yeah.
I feel like they have something to do with like ponds. Like everything has a natural ecosystem and purpose in its habitat. Like even ticks.
Well, I wish every goose in
Possums
the
eat
world
ticks.
would naturally fuck right off because I don't like geese at all.
I've
They're
never thought
not
about that.
a whole lot
What's
of
one
fun.
animal you wish if you had to pick one to go extinct? What would it be?
Had to pick or
Humans.
got to pick?
Like you're in a position where they're like, you have to get rid of one.
Billy seen
Where'd
a
you want to
funny
think
joke.
of me?
Billy seen a funny joke where it said, "I'm more confused on why did Noah put bed bugs on the ark?"
Yeah, someone said, why did Noah put bed bugs on the ark?
I think they
point.
hitched a ride.
Yeah, they were not invited.
Crabs.
Showed up.
Yeah.
But there's a purpose for everything.
I
guess.
wonder if people that are like pro-life kill crabs when they get them. That's a tough
That's
one.
a really
The Appalachian
interesting.
crustaceans.
Like, if you're a vegetarian and you get crabs, is that just your personality now?
Like a
You just
vegan.
have crabs forever?
Like, do vegans keep their lice if they get it?
Yeah,
They're
it's a good
animal
question.
activists.
I think crabs are making a comeback. You see, everybody was shaving their shit up there for a while.
I brought that up.
And they run out of habitat. And then, some stewards of the environment.
They took up the mantle.
Bush 2025.
We're bringing
so-
back the bush.
If you're
This is Barrett Freeman with the PropertyTales podcast. Today we've got a very special guest. We've got Joe Exotic from Fort Worth Prison in Texas.
I guess that would be the.
And with Joe, I've got Tuck Fard, Billy Hubbard, and Tara Paget. How you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing great.
I'm doing pretty darn good. But
Pretty interesting. Interesting podcast.
So,
today.
Joe, if someone doesn't know who you are, how would you describe yourself to them?
Well, my real name is Joseph Maldonado. Everybody knows me as Joe Exotic, the Tiger King from the Netflix show Tiger King. I watched it for the first time about 8 months ago, and I was pretty disgusted with it myself. I don't know what everybody saw in it, other than y'all were bored and locked up during COVID, so you didn't have anything else to watch. The only thing that I think they got right is Carol killed her husband. the rest of the show was pretty made up.
You're a pretty big personality too, so you kind of sold the show, made it good.
Yeah, so
the part I was disgusted with is they made me out to be this meth head, and I was the only one on the show with teeth wearing clothes.
So you said that you agreed that Carol likely killed her husband. What are the big things that you thought they didn't get right?
Okay, well, they got a lot right about Carol, but who interviews a hitman in a bathtub, right? You could tell right off the bat that it was an agenda, and the show had a purpose, and that was to make animal people look crazy so they could pass the Big Cat Safety Act. Because the part that I was really disgusted with was Saf, the girl that lost her arm at my zoo. If they wanted to do something for tigers or help save tigers in the wild or anything, they would have set her in front of that tiger cage because that tiger was still alive. The government didn't make us euthanize him after that. And she could have told her story about that tiger and the plight of tigers in the wild. But instead they set her in a junkyard to make it look like that zoo was the junkyard.
How did you initially even come to own that zoo?
All right, me and my brother owned a pet store in Arlington, Texas for 16 years. And he was moving my sister from Dallas to Florida and made it 40 miles south of Dallas and got into a wreck with a intoxicated semi-driver. And he laid on life support for 7 days before we shut his life support off and donated his organs. Well, anyway, he lived in Oklahoma with my mom and dad on the same property with his wife and kids because he always vowed that my mom and dad would never go to a nursing home. So when he died, I sold the pet store, and I took the profit from the pet store with the $140,000 that mom and dad got from the insurance from the wreck, and we bought the property. So we owned the property outright, okay, but we didn't have the money to start this zoo. So we wanted to build
This call is from a federal prison.
we wanted to build a sanctuary in memory of my brothers because one of his dreams was to always go to Africa, So I had $1,000, and I started building the very first cage with $1,000. And before we even had the first cage built, we had a black bear and a mountain lion in the barn that people had already donated. And so because it was a memorial park and we were building it in memory of my brother, it just caught on because my mom and dad started talking to, everybody that stopped by and everybody that were local. And people from all over the world paid to build the cages and the compounds that their memory, their memorials were in memory of somebody that they've lost. So that's why we called it the GW Exotic Animal Memorial Park. And we had 151 memorials there. big compounds and we had 3 people that were actually their ashes were buried underneath their compounds that their memorials resided in. And that's why we were so proud of it, and kept it so nice and beautiful with trees and plants and flowers and everything else, because it was like a living cemetery, except the animals got to live,
So what's going on with it now, Joe?
Pardon?
And so what's going on with it now?
Well, I mean, last I heard, because John Rinke came and visited me about 3 weeks ago. He said that Carol had and Jeff had spray painted foul language all over the sides of the buildings, and they busted out the windows and everything, and the weeds are up,
Joe, I will tell you, there is a YouTube video right now of this group that they're exploring your abandoned park. It's a pretty good, but we'll put the link so people can watch it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that or not, but it is set in abandoned. So when you get out of prison, you'd still be interested in just getting that property back and doing something. You told us a little bit before it started. You want to tell us what you had planned for it?
Well, I know that it sold for $140,000 because that's all Carol had to credit my judgment. So she sold it and the only thing I know is the last name was Hernandez. Just somebody named Hernandez bought it for $140,000. So what I would like to do is see somebody start a GoFundMe to buy the property back, and because Carol sold it with a 100-year contract, it could never be a zoo. It could still be something we could use for like a camp or something to where we can do something for homeless people on holidays and weekends and sick kids and we.
I'm a broker, so I can help.
Something to do with it,
Luckily, Mr. Barrett here is a broker, so he could, if it needs bought, he can do it.
It cannot ever be a zoo, but it could sure be like a dog rescue.
I'm also a lawyer, and I could probably get around that restriction.
Yeah, he's also a lawyer, so there's got a lot of
something like that. I don't know how good her 100-year contract would stick. If you actually fought that in court.
So let me ask you.
It would be worth a shot.
With you being in prison after the documentary came out, you haven't really got to enjoy any of the fame or the.
I have none. Enjoyed none of it.
So what would you say when you got out of prison would be the first thing that you would do, given your internet and fame?
Hey, this thing beeped, which means it's going to hang up already, guys. So give me 30 minutes. I'll call you right back, and we'll get right into it.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Tuck. What'd you think?
That's pretty cool. I'm more of a layman on it. Like I watched Tiger King. I've seen the memes. I probably should have done more research. Billy, you're very well versed on it. You made the right move because honestly,
we're gonna keep recording. By the way,
they did a phenomenal job in that documentary of making him look like shit.
So what he's saying is the research I've done on it. Which if you follow him on Facebook, you'll see what he's talking about. A lot of the people who, based on their character, did a testimony against Joe Exotic. And since then, they've been accused of perjury. One of them admitted to perjury in court. So his question that he's asking is, how could they still,
there's been a lot of people that were petitioning against him that have now, renounced
retracted
what they
everything,
said.
yeah.
I just hate that he's world famous, and the only way we can talk to him is through a phone call.
You got to think, this man was in millions of homes, and now he's limited.
He's a household name.
Yeah, 15-minute phone calls. That's got to be.
It gets interrupted every 3 minutes with this is calling from a federal prison.
They want to remind me, what do they think I'm going to do? Well, fuck that then.
Yeah. Don't talk about drugs. We're listening. Yeah. So
now he mentioned buying the park, and I saw that grin on your face. What? How would that?
Well, I mean, I have to research it, but that's literally what I do for a living is I buy stuff.
Yeah.
That would be
that would
be dope.
I didn't know if he'd seen it or not, but I didn't want to be like there's a video on YouTube that I was talking about where these guys are going through his park, and it's just abandoned.
I'll link it. I mean, you're allowed to use a few seconds from other YouTube videos anyway. I'll put it up.
But if yeah, she was. She was on his side.
She didn't want anything happen to the Tigers.
Now, one thing he said that I don't understand is that he said it was garbage. But if you really think about it, I do agree in some points because of the character they made him out to be at the end of the first season.
Well, they also made everyone seem like the stereotypes.
Yeah.
Like, he's not that intelligent. He's extremely intelligent. If you watch his videos about his knowledge about crossbreeding versus inbreeding of tigers, like, he can tell you way too much about stuff that I don't know anybody that knows that much about animals. Yeah.
8 months ago was his first time ever watching it. That is
It's
insane.
taken 5 years for him to watch
I thought he said that, and we just let that kind of skate by, but he just watched the documentary the first time. It's been out since 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's got a second season, which he probably, if I was him and I watched the second season, I'd be mad as a motherfucker.
So we're so limited on time when he calls back. What are some burning questions so that we're ready to just bam, bam, bam?
I think we should ask him, like I said, about when he gets out of prison, what's the first thing he wants to do? What steps has he been taking for his getting out of, like, basically what he's trying to get out is his story about how the government fucked him. That's what he's trying to get out.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's why that's why he rants on it, because he seems very passionate about the facts.
It's his life. I mean, he's in a cage.
If I was in a cage and thought I was innocent, I'd be doing the same shit.
Well,
That's what I'm saying.
Now knowing more about, I knew the zoo was for his brother, and I knew about the drunk driver, and that he used to do a road traveling zoo with magic to teach kids.
Most of that was in the documentary, but I did want some background just for the people that know who he is. But
that there's ashes of people there, like that's a memorial for people, and it's just sitting empty. That hurts me a little bit.
He makes a valid point about I was going to be silly and ask some drug related questions, but it's like it's just not going.
I told you
it's not going that way.
That's an intense individual.
He's extremely
it's just I don't see how that could segue. I need to figure out some other shit.
he's locked in.
Yeah.
And which of course we all agree I'd be locked in if it's my life, and you know I'm not going to bring up the fact that he's sick right now.
But see, you could do like.
But he has cancer right now. Or?
You could tell, like, when he found out that he was a real estate agent, you could tell it locked. He looks at things as opportunities. You can tell.
He's a businessman.
Well, they were talking about me when he was mentioning the land for sale. I was like,
yeah, because I was like, fuck it, GoFundMe to Barrett, just go buy it.
Yeah.
my pants got a little tight when he saw that.
If you know anything about Joe too, he's also a businessman. He's got the Joe Exotic underwear. He put his face on condoms.
He's got the business ideas. He can't handle the operations.
One thing that he did say that's not been made public anywhere else was the meeting with the White House. That's one thing that nobody else has talked about. So we will be the first people they hear that
They know what we're doing.
We'll be the first part. He didn't say it on any of the other part. We'll be the first people they hear that from.
Well, I'd like maybe Tuck to ask about that then. That'll give him something locked in.
It's okay.
No, I like Tuck. You sound more intelligent than I do. I sound like someone.
No, I mean, I'm just trying to spread the time.
Yeah.
Because, Tuck's followers are going to be watching for Tuck's questions too. So I want to make sure his followers are getting some love.
This call will be recorded.
To accept this call, press 5. To block this, you may begin speaking now.
And we are back.
Hey, Joe, welcome back. I know this has to be stressful on your end.
We're getting a reverb.
Yeah.
We'll just have to deal with it.
We're doing it live.
We're doing it live.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to record. All right, can you still hear me, Joe?
This call will be recorded.
Okay, so the question I left on was, since you're famous now and you have all this going for you, when you get out of prison, what's going to be the first thing you do?
Well, because they took everything that I had, and they either sold it or threw it away, or people, they broke in my house and trashed everything. So I have nothing. So first thing I got to do is stop by somewhere and get some clothes. Then I'm going to head to Red Lobster and have a decent meal. and then I'm off to Mexico.
Oh, that's pretty clever.
His husband's.
Oh, his husband's?
Yeah, my husband's in Mexico. But once I get him, actually, I want to go spend a couple weeks in Cozumel on a honeymoon and just decontaminate, from all of this. And then I've been offered a world tour for a concert. My people are working on a TV show of my own because I have 6 terabytes of never seen footage
Yeah, that
Nobody's
seems to
ever
be your
seen.
expertise, just TV shows.
Yeah, so that, and I've had a few offers come in for some TV shows and a late night talk show.
Oh,
Jeez.
okay, that sounds nice. So, like, when you get out of prison, I'd like to buy you a beer, you and your husband. And is there any way people can show a little bit of support when you do get out of prison?
Well, I wanna see if we can get a little closer idea of when that might be.
Okay.
So if we have a for sure sign from the White House that it's coming, I'm gonna have somebody set up some kind of a fundraiser because I have nothing.
Are your hopes pretty high for that happening?
I've got 3 different people that are at the White House that keep saying that my name is on the next list. It's just, President Trump has so much drama all the time, and they're pretty disappointed that he didn't have a list come out in June, because, he told the pardon attorney and the pardon czar to get 10,000 clemencies ready. So they were expecting, him to release 10,000 people. And everybody's kind of disappointed that he hadn't had a pardon since the Chrisleys.
What's up, brother? My name's Nick. We segued a little bit. I'm a different individual. You talk to Billy,
It sounds different, dude. Huh?
and now we made it over here to me. So this White House deal, you said they're talking about pardoning 10,000 individuals.
Well, clemencies, giving 10,000 clemencies, yeah.
What? Awesome. So you're thinking that maybe coming this time or sometime this?
I've been told in the next 3 to 5 weeks, but I was told that back in 2022, and I got my hopes up and it didn't happen. So I'm not going to get too excited till they tell me to pack my bags. But I've
Feeling for.
when I find out a little more and get a little closer, I'm going to see if I can get somebody to set up a GoFundMe for when I'm released. Because I have nothing. People think that I got paid from Netflix, and I didn't. I didn't get a dime from that.
Yeah, Bubby, they made you look bad. I can see how you'd be pretty upset about it.
Yeah. But I got a few things that I got to take care of right away when I get out, and the biggest thing is my husband's living like a river rat in Mexico right now, so is to go save him.
Gotcha.
His priorities are good too. That's good.
Yeah, we're family first.
Yeah.
All that. How much time we got left, Barrett?
Well, Joe will hear a beep.
Joe,
Yeah,
hear me, so we can just keep running it?
Yeah, just keep running.
Ask,
Well, Joe, I have some questions that were suggested by some followers. A lot of my comedy, the background comes from drug addiction and recovery. And I told my people, I said, I'm going to ask him about the dope. How much was there realistically? How much was it just Netflix's influence?
On my side, it was Netflix's influence.
Okay.
On the staff side, it was a full-time job keeping them people clean. And
Gotcha.
and Travis's, Travis, when I met Travis, he came from California and he was really bad addicted to meth, and he was homeless, and he come to the zoo and he cleaned up really good. But his mom was a severe addict, and she worked at the zoo too, and she just kept feeding him the problem. But Eric Cowie, the guy that looked like Jesus with the long hair, that died since all this started, he was horrible. I gave people that were addicts and on the doorstep of going to jail or their families disowned them. I gave them all a place to live and a job, and for the most part, over the 20 years, it helped a lot of people. There was a lot of people that went from drug addicts and homeless to working for TV stations and cameras, running their cameras.
This call is from a federal prison.
Made something of themselves, and then there was those few that fell through the cracks, that just didn't have the ambition to clean up. But that's why they made me out to be the asshole because I didn't allow drugs or alcohol in the zoo. Okay, where Jeff, that's how he won them over and got their devotion because he just let them party.
He would be popular.
Yeah, I could see why he would have.
He rallied the troops.
So
Yeah,
Jeff's was kind of like a trap house version of.
My Uncle Toman would have chose Jeff too.
Bubby, have you gotten some pretty cool mail while you're in there?
I probably got over 50,000 letters since I've been here. When Tiger King first came out, they used to bring my mail in Walmart sacks.
You get anything? Is there anything that stands out in your mind as being like?
Well, I mean, the coolest letter that I ever got was, back in 1994. I've always done charity work, and back in 1994, there was this really, really, really heavy-set lady with a tumor in her pituitary gland that made her make more calories than she ate, and her name was Wendy Templeton, and she needed a brain surgery, but there was no hospital, other than Boston that could handle her weight and do this surgery. So I raised the money to get her and her family a flight to Boston and stay in Boston, have the surgery, and then come back to Dallas. And we became really good friends. Yeah, I got a letter from this guy that says, back when he was a little kid, he remembers this angel, and his angel's name was Joe Schreiber, that helped his mom. And that was probably the coolest letter I've ever got.
Heck yeah.
A lot better than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, we meant okay, the other day I got sent dirty panties and socks from this woman that worked at Burger King. I meant more like that. Like, what sort of wild shit have you got?
They're not, they even Xerox your mail in prison, so you don't get anything mailed in. You get a Xerox copy of every letter. You don't get any cards. You don't get any paintings or any drawings. It's just, it has to be on one side of white paper, and they Xerox it. So that way they can't funnel drugs in. So my mail's pretty boring other than that.
I bet the prisons. I bet people ask him a lot of money, and the prison just takes it.
You think the prison takes your money? You think people send you money and they take it?
Well, they're supposed to send it back, but I know, a lot of people don't read the rules, and a lot of people probably put, a couple dollars in the envelope for stamps and envelopes, and they probably put extra stamps in the envelopes, but, who knows?
How's your day going?
That's typical. Just boring. Right now it's raining here, so there's nothing to do outside, so it's just sit in and watch movies on the tablet.
Well, Mr. Joe Exotic, I just want to let you know that we've been supporting you, and I don't think you. I'm just going to let it out there. I don't think you should be in prison. I don't.
Well,
think
you and half of the world.
Yeah, a lot of people agree with me, and the reason that we got connected with you is my woman and her dad and you look pretty similar.
Yeah, this is Tira, the one you've been talking to, Joe, and my dad got mistaken for you so much in 2020 in Kentucky. He eventually said, I need to know who Joe Exotic is.
That's crazy.
So we watched it, and ever since then, I have been I feel like a personal connection to it. Like, you shouldn't be in there.
Well, I'm looking forward to the day I get out and I can show the world who the real Joe Exotic really is.
I think you're going to do good, man. You have a lot of followers. You have a big fan. You ain't really got to start over when it comes to a fan base. When you get out, you got that pretty much figured out.
I'm ready to see what good you're going to do with all the stuff I know you want to do.
Yeah, until I get there, I still got cancer to deal with too, so. How
is that treating you in prison? That's got to be hell.
It's tough. I did chemo and radiation for a year, and being locked in a little room by yourself, puking your ass off every day, is pretty depressing. So that's why I'm not doing any treatment right now. So I still got lung cancer and prostate cancer to deal with on top of everything else when I get out. So, but anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this thing beeped again, which means it's gonna hang up already. So get everybody on JoeExoticOfficial.com and look at the evidence and just get online and free Joe Exotic everywhere you can.
We'll make sure it stays on our back glass, and we'll put everything out that you need.
All right, tell everybody I appreciate it. Me and George send our love.
All right, absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Joe Exotic.
I done it. I asked him about the drugs. I had to
He
figure out how
was so nervous.
He's
I
sweating.
was like,
He did not want to do
He
it.
did not want to do that.
I didn't want to do it, but I'm a man of my word. I said I was going to do it.
So I didn't. I understand his point about Netflix trumping up. You know, they had their storylines they wanted to push. I do not believe that he was a saint. And was
No, he
just
definitely wasn't a saint.
I'm saying keeping everybody clean, and I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Lord knows, really. I mean, like, you can do a pretty considerable amount of dope and still keep your teeth. You know, he made the valid point. He still has his teeth. Very few other people did.
Yeah.
You know, he might not have.
I'll play devil's advocate
I
here.
can't.
You never know. It's hard.
You never
if
know.
you're controlling, having to take care of a bunch of tigers.
You're going to need
I'll
energy.
put
It's
it
gonna
this
be hard
way.
to take care of
The
You're going to
way-
need so much energy.
The way he explained it was convincing. I'll explain it that way.
Yeah.
My thing is, though, if he's got nothing but time, he's going to be thinking of ways to justify his actions, be convincing. I'm not saying I don't believe him, but
There's two
he's
sides.
just
There.
acting
I
like
understand what you.
he's acting like he's running rehab in there, and that's just not true.
I understand what you're saying.
So yeah, no, he had a lot to say about Jeff Lowe and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to make it in or not because we got to be careful about.
Well, when it comes to
Defamation,
drama too, you also have to remember that people like Netflix, they're going to try to take, because if they had done it the way Joe has explained it, it wouldn't have had as many. It wouldn't have
It wouldn't have been a sensation.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been this hit.
Yep.
Now, I'm not saying it's exactly how he said it was, but I'm sure that they exaggerated things. He probably exaggerated things. And I think everybody.
I think he loved it.
Yeah.
So he played into it.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
He
But-
was out there saying,
Well, a lot of the footage came from where they were shooting his web show.
right.
A lot of that footage you see is from the Joe Exotic TV web show where he would do his nightly lives and
Maybe he was trying to be entertaining on his.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exaggerate things.
My opinion is all these other people he worked with, like Jeff Lowe and them, if they're gonna, put him in prison, then I feel like they should have went to prison
how clean
too.
is
You
their
know.
slate? That's
Yeah.
what I want to know.
Yeah, Tuck. Watching you ask him that question.
Yeah, you could tell Tuck was like, oh, he's
Here
been
we go.
he's fucking hanging up. I'm getting a lawsuit right here.
Yeah, Barrett's going to be pissed.
I'm surprised we got through that whole.
Uh,
He didn't mention Carol Baskin but one time, and it was over.
It's
That
the real estate issue.
yeah.
I think that was a part of the Netflix stuff was to do that because I don't.
That's one thing they probably didn't exaggerate was how much he hated that woman.
It,
That's probably pretty just
Yeah,
on
I
its
watched
pretty-
own.
a lot about. He
Yeah.
initially started. I guess the feud all started because she seen he had a zoo. She didn't want him to have that zoo, and
And I
she
kind of
picked
maybe
a
I
fight
hate
with
her
the wrong
fucking
person.
face.
Yeah, fuck Carol
Fuck
Baskin.
Carol Baskin.
Fuck her.
Fuck Carol Baskin.
Yeah, I hope she see you can't sue me. Can't take half of nothing, bitch.
Yeah. Fucking what are you going to do? Take
think
half the
we're-
blocks out? Cut the tires on my house?
Cut the tires.
Bitch.
You can't repossess something that's already got 4 liens on it.
Yeah.
Well, that was a very, very successful podcast.
Yeah, that went a lot better than I thought it would. Who would have known that the prison system was so loud?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was an
Yeah.
active riot happening in the background.
I just expect one moment this guy go, "Hey, get off the fucking phone, Joe."
I think he was actively fighting a guy with the phone while he was talking.
Shiving somebody.
Yeah, but
But I can't imagine this man. When I think about it, you've got a man in his 60s with cancer in prison.
And he just wants to go
And
be
he
with his
just
boy
wants
toy
to
in
go.
Mexico.
his
Be with his
husband,
husband.
his
hard to
husband's
argue
in
with that, man.
Mexico.
You know what I mean?
It's a wild time.
All right.
You're gonna get a lot of mixed opinions on
Yeah.
this.
All right. Well, that's the podcast. I really appreciate you guys driving all the way to Corbin. It's always fun. This has been another episode of the PropertyTales podcast. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Just reading the comments a minute ago. Everybody hating.
What are you talking
Hating
about?
on who? You?
No on her.
Yeah.
About
What
her
you
accent?
do?
Yeah.
Let them hate.
I replied back to him.
But there's more, I think, after.
Oh, I love it.
They're
You
like,
gotta stir 'em
she's
up.
so fake. Come down, Martha.
Calm down, Martha.
Martha's realer than that.
How come everyone that hates always they have that look? You know what I mean?
They really do.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking. When I was looking at it,
Everybody
like,
that was in those comments talking, they're all fat bitches. It's always the fat bitches.
What's the update on
We're
it?
recording. Oh, we're live.
If you're a fat bitch, stop hating.
Oh, what's the context for that?
Everybody's saying her accent's fake. Stop it.
Do you think I want to sound like this on purpose?
Yeah, shut up.
Every damn day.
If I could pick a voice.
Make sure it stays pointed at your.
Just
suckle.
because you have to fake your orgasms for your husband don't mean everybody fakes everything else, you fucking inconsiderate fuck. Sorry.
All right. What was your story you were trying to tell 3 different times, and we're like, please wait for the podcast.
I'm sorry. Well, you were talking about wanting to do some ghost hunting.
It's almost the season.
Ghost hunting. I have, and I will preface this by saying, you know, my brain's not neurotypical, and I have burned it a little bit, but I have my theories about what may be possible as far as kids seeing, you know, supernatural things. When my little girl was real small, I'm wondering if it isn't in that moment of a switch where you have that self-realization. You become self-aware. Because there's a time when you're like 1 and 2, when all you know is shit, piss, eat, sleep, walk around, ga. And then all of a sudden, one day you have a self-realization. We probably don't remember when it was, but there's a cutoff there somewhere. And wherever that may be, I wonder if there's not necessarily a pickup on something. Because when my little girl was extremely small, like she could barely talk, she started just acting scared to go in her room and stuff like that. And I talked to her about it, and she swore up and down that there was a little boy, and his name was, this is hard for a 2-year-old to make up, his name was Corbin. He's scared. He doesn't know, he can't find his family. And this is coming out of a 2-year-old. It's like, it'd be hard for a 2-year-old to make up. And he thought that
story premises.
He thought the chickens were funny. And I told her, I said, I didn't want to shut her down on it. I just listened, because worst case, I'm not going to tell her no ghosts don't exist, because honestly, I can't. I don't know. But I said, well, let's try talking to him. And I told her, I said, just tell him he's welcome to do whatever, blah, 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 playing pretend with her pretty much, you know. And she came to me one day and said, he asked if he could play with the chickens. I said, yeah, tell him yes. And then all of a sudden it just went away. But it was a thing, and it was very detailed for a number of weeks. And then all of a sudden,
that would have scared the fuck out of me. I'm not going to lie to you.
But where I live it's a long history of violence. It's called Bloody Ridge, and there's I've heard all different reasons as to why it's called that, but the most plausible one from a credible source is that there used to be a brothel where there was a bunch of good old stab down by the river, and it's since, been demolished. But I would be interested. There's a lot of Native American history in that area as well. I'd be interested to see what you can't come up with.
I could come up with a lot. I'm a historian.
Well, I know when I looked up where you were from, there's a history too. There was a train that was traveling with a Egyptian artifact, and it derailed. And then there was back-to-back stuff for weeks on end of just
y'all are missing
happening.
out on movie gold right here. This all sounds like the beginning of a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost the season. I know you guys have some haunted house plans.
Yeah, we're working with Ferriston's this year. They got us on there. The last year I went to Fair, I always have a great time over there because they have the forest and they have the mansion. They put a lot of effort into that mansion.
It's the highest production in the 100 miles.
And what made it scarier for us is I'm kind of popular on the internet, so everybody knew my name. So I'm going to this haunted forest, and they're all saying my name and shit. And I'm like, this is terrifying. Do they do this for everybody?
I may or may have not told the actors to where it freaked you out to go ahead and radio ahead and keep doing that.
I got motorboated by a man-woman.
No, you had to motorboat a man-woman.
I didn't have to do nothing.
The guy in the wedding dress?
Yeah, that's Shanae.
Shanae is terrifying. If you
Shanae's a staple. She's been there
Shanae
for
looks
years.
like somebody that attacked him with a knife, so it was double.
Yeah, I was traumatized. I was froze. You ever hear people say, I just let it happen? I understand. I know what you mean.
Do you have any interest in doing any kind of Halloween content this season?
I've gotten contacted by a gentleman with a haunted house closer to me. And I think I'm gonna probably do some business with them.
I'd love to team up with you. I'm due to come to you anyway.
That would
if
be
you're
cool.
interested.
Oh yeah.
That'd be cool. We could do that.
We'll get we'll get the film crew out there. We'll
What
make
we
it
should
big.
do is just put him just make him look ridiculous and just have him talk to people.
Yeah.
We'll wait till it's like 2:00 in the morning and like have people leave the bar and just have you run after them.
Oh yeah, we could do all kinds of stuff.
Well, I just want maybe a 5-minute clip of Tuck doing the jump scare and like pulling the shutter open and then closing.
Pulling false walls.
Yeah, I think that'd be really neat.
I love you, bub, but if I came in the kitchen at 3:00 and Tuck was just standing in there, I'd be like, hell no.
In some jorts and just shirtless with
Sweaty.
eating mayonnaise out of a jar.
Yeah, with his hand.
Here's a movie idea that I've tossed around that I think would be hilarious, like a hillbilly Saw. Imagine, for one, the Saw theme, but on a banjo, bing, 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 and then throw in some Tucker and Dale vs. Evil.
Oh, great movie.
Make Jigsaw be like a stupid ass idiot redneck that can't quite get it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, I thought about doing like a horror movie, like a haunted house, but the haunted house is a crack den, right? So all these ghosts have to deal with crackheads who have now squatted in this house.
The ghosts are trapped in with him.
So now the ghosts are being haunted by these crackheads, and like they'll shake stuff.
Yeah.
And the crackheads are so they're used to it, so it's not gonna bother them none.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
The ghosts are trying, and the crackheads are just not taking.
I hope there ain't no movie producers watching it. I just lost that idea.
I love a good flip a trope on its head.
Yeah.
Premise. Like the ghosts are being haunted by the crackheads. That's hilarious.
And crackheads are already paranoid, so anytime someone comes over and they're like, "You fucking hear that?" They're gonna be like, "No."
Yeah. I went out. Speaking of that, I went out with one boy who swore up and down that there were like people coming out of the wood. This is before I really got acquainted with how meth addiction looks and some of the symptoms. Mm-hmm. But I had this AK-12 that I had made a coyote hunting gun out of, because there for a while you could only hunt with shotguns at night with coyotes. But I had night vision. And I could not convince this man that there's nobody out there. Like, I'm looking, there's nobody in the bushes. I'll never forget that.
I just can't get over the idea in my head of Tuck tactically assaulting coyotes with an AK-12.
Yeah, dude, it was so friggin' heavy. It's a Chinese AK-12. It's a 12-gauge AK platform. And that's heavy enough on its own. And then you start loading it up with 3-inch buckshot, and that gets heavy. Then you put like an 8-pound scope on top. My arms were tired, dude.
Was this the
I had a
mutton
Carlson's
chop
coyote.
era? Was this mutton chop?
No,
time?
that was back in Lexington.
The last
that was
thing,
cool.
imagine you're a coyote, and the
last thing you see on this earth is this motherfucker.
and wearing like night vision goggles.
Well, it was a scope.
That's even scary.
It was cool. It was cool, dude. I had a good time, and then I got into some fucking drugs and shit.